Hello, Deputy Clerks. So it's me, Robin, and Rochelle here with you today, and the purpose of this video is to do what we would usually do if we were being sworn in and talking to you all in a courtroom. And since we didn't get to do that, we're going to do this together today. So just to let you know how we are here. In March of this past year, Angie and I qualified to run as the clerk and chief deputy of the state court. Once we qualified, the plan was we were going to be on the ballot. The governor's office started contacting Angie. They were interested in appointing Angie as the clerk of the new statewide business court that would open on August 1st. The governor then set a time to interview Angie. That interview went well, as you can imagine. The governor wanted to then appoint Angie for a 5-year term as the first clerk of the new statewide business court. And that court is housed in the Court of Appeals building and the Supreme Court building. So Angie has a lot of quiet right now. Then they asked if she would be willing to go down to the Capitol and be interviewed and confirmed by the House and Senate. So she had a confirmation hearing, much like what you're seeing on TV right now with Amy Coney Barrett. So what happened was she was interviewed by both sides, House and Senate, and by both sides of the aisle. That interview went really well. They confirmed her with a unanimous vote, and might I add, a standing ovation. So our own Cobb County's Angie Davis is now the clerk of the statewide business court. She was sworn in for that position on August 1st. Right after August 1st, because her start day was August 1st, and then I was sworn in as clerk because our local legislation says that when the clerk retires, leaves, or whatever, the chief deputy takes over as soon as they leave. The local legislation also says that I am to name a chief deputy clerk within 30 days of being sworn in office. Well, what happened was we had to participate in a special qualifying for a new election name to be on the ballot. That qualifying was August 12th, 13th, and 14th, where we could go and qualify for that office. So I had to choose a chief deputy. And that was a hard choice, you guys. From the time the governor first approached Angie, I started thinking, who would that be? And what would that look like for you guys and for our court? And in my heart, I kept thinking, I don't want to go outside of our work family. I thought of a few people that I could call. I thought of a few people that I could maybe ask to lunch and talk to them about it. But every time I would make the plan to do it, something inside of me wouldn't let me. And I remembered how our management team worked together during the limited operations time in the county when we missed you guys terribly. And I thought to myself, there's nothing that we need that we don't already have right here on this team. So I started thinking, who has the same work ethic? Who cares for all of you in the same manner that I do? Who represents what we want to represent in this court? And I kept coming back to Rochelle Taylor. She is what that represents to me. So to give you a little more information about how this looks on the ballot, because some of you have already voted and you're like, why is the clerk and the chief deputy not on the ballot? There's a legal notice that you can look at on the election site that explains that we were unopposed in the qualifying, we were unopposed in the special primary, and the special primary was set at the same day of the election. Because there was no opposition, that special primary is canceled. And because the special primary is canceled, our special election is no longer required. So we'll be certified for our new term, because our current term is from August 1st to December 31st. So we'll be qualified for our new term. That will begin a 4-year term, January 1st of 2021. So if you want to look at that, that's out on the Cobb Elections Legal Notices site, and that gives you a little bit more information. But there's nobody that I would rather share that 4 years with than Rochelle Taylor, and I'm going to give her a little time to talk to you all as well. So, Rochelle.
Hi, y'all. Most of y'all know who I am. A little bit of history about myself. I started part-time on the calendar team in September of 1999, and a few months later, I became full-time on the Fail to Appear team. And from there, I went to the accounting division, then the courtroom deputy division, where I clerked for Judge Collins. And then I was promoted to supervisor in 2002, and I supervised the fail to appear and fail to appear and calendar teams. And then during my tenure, I also supervised the docket teams, the front counter, public access. And in 2016, I became the criminal division manager, and I am now your new chief deputy clerk, which I'm very honored to be. So kind of the way this started was one night Robin called me, and she said, "Hey, can you come to my house? I want to have a conversation with you." And I was a little nervous because I was like, "Oh no, what have I done?" And so when I went, and that's when she asked me to be her chief deputy clerk, I of course hesitated, and because I didn't think that was how my career would go. And but with a lot of thought and prayer, I said yes. I said yes because I love what this office stands for. I love the people in this office. I love the work that I do to help others. And I said yes because I want to uphold the standard of excellence that the leaders before us have given us, and I want to leave it better than I found it. So thank you, Robin, for believing in me. Thank you for having the faith in me, and I hope I do it justice.
Thanks, Rochelle. And you guys know that she will, because you guys have worked alongside her, and some of you for as long as she's been here, which is 22 years. So many of you want to know, okay, what's the expectations for the new clerk and the new chief deputy? Because as many of you know, you work for an elected official, and each one of those terms can be different because different people come into office. They may have different thoughts of what we should do as a work family. But we've decided we want to continue with the 3 pillars of excellence that we've always stood on, and that foundation of our office, which is customer service, accuracy, and efficiency. And with that, it takes a lot to say that there's 70 people or over 70 people that you trust enough to sign your name because they're representing you. And I trust all of you to do that. I've grown to know you, but I want you to know that first and foremost, Rochelle and I, we represent the citizens of this county, and the citizens pay our salaries, and we want to be honest and forthright with the money of who we pay with those salaries, as well of what they do for us and how they support us, and to serve the patrons coming into our court, because that's who we serve. We serve the citizens, we serve the patrons, we serve the judiciary, and we want to be the best that we can be in that profession to do that. And because I haven't been a chief deputy or clerk like Angie was for 20 years, I've only been chief deputy 7, I want to rely on some wisdom that we have. And in our office, as you all know, we have a policy manual that you guys sign every year at the beginning of our rating period. And every year that policy manual is reviewed by the management team. And this management team, you guys, is top notch. I am so happy and proud to work with them and call them my work family. And they've reviewed this policy manual, and you'll be receiving it via email next week with this video. That policy manual is not just something that we've come up with. That policy manual represents Martha Watson and Diane Webb, the former clerks, then Diane and Angie, the former clerks, and then Angie and myself as the clerk and chief deputy teams that I've mentioned. That policy manual's been around a long time, and we have built our reputation off what's in it. So it's been fine-tuned by the greatest management teams that have been out there, in my opinion. So we expect you to read it, because if you're asking what we expect and what we want, it's in that manual. We do have some of the Board of Commissioner policies that we follow, because the Board of Commissioners provides support to us for functionality as far as like the county attorney appropriating funds. Also, they provide us HR, but we have our own separate policy manual because it guides the expectations of our elected office. So if you want to know what we think, it's in there. So you're going to have to read it, the whole thing. It'll come out for you to read. And a little bit of Rochelle about how we're going to enforce that policy.
So any personnel issues go through the chain of command. It'll start with your supervisor and go to the manager and then to me. And just so y'all know, I'll always refer back to the policy manual in support of the management team. So make sure that you understand what's in that manual.
We're both fun. We think we're fun anyway. You might not think we're fun, but we think we're fun. And we want to have a lot of fun working with you because we want to all grow professionally and we all want to grow as a work family. But we need consistency. And the only way we can all do that working across 3 floors and 4 departments is to look at the manual. We're going to send out an email with this video, and attached to that is going to be your policy manual. And as you all know, every year you sign an acknowledgement page, and it explains to you what you're acknowledging by reading it and signing it. We're also adding a line that says that you've watched this video so that you understand that better. So read it and sign the acknowledgement, and refer back to it if you have questions, and ask your supervisor if you have questions about it. We're so excited to work for you guys and work for the citizens and to be there as a team, and we couldn't be prouder to work every day with all of you because you are incredible at what you do. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank y'all.
Thanks.